everyone, it's Miss Rossi. Today we're going to finish our Wayne Thiebaud inspired cakes. What you'll be needing today is your cake sketch from last week. So you should have either a tiered stacked cake drawn or a cake with a slice cut out like the one that I have here, all finished and drawn in pencil. And then we're just going to need something to color our picture in with. Today I have some crayons and I have some markers. I'm going to use my markers to trace and I'm going to use my crayons to fill everything in. You can use whatever you have at home to add color to your picture. If you would like to use paints like our artist, since he was making all of these dessert paintings, you can always use paints to fill in your picture, but any other material will also work. Markers, crayons, colored pencils, whatever it is that you have at home will be fine. Now, when we were looking at Wayne Thiebaud's work, we got to see the interesting way that he was using color. Now, a lot of his desserts and his paintings looked realistic. They looked like things we could recognize from real life. They were colored and drawn in a way that looked like things that we see in real life. But he was also using some other colors in there to outline and to add shadows that made his pictures a little bit more interesting. So instead of just being a replica of something that exists in real life like a photograph, his paintings sometimes had different colored outlines or bright, vibrant shadows and things that made them look a little bit more interesting. Sometimes adding those extra colors made the desserts look even more appealing and exciting. So you can decide today when you're coloring in your picture if you want to get a little crazy with the colors that you're using and make it look more imaginative and more abstract, where you are outlining and coloring things in colors that you wouldn't normally see for whatever it is that you drew. Or you can color and trace yours to look realistic, to color and trace it to look like a cake from real life. Maybe it is looking like your dream cake and that is how you want to color it in, and that is totally fine as well. I'm going to get a little creative as I'm tracing. I am going to use some different colors here and there to trace my picture to make it a little bit more interesting and a little bit crazy looking, but again, you can color yours in however you would like. I do encourage you to get a little experimental with it. It does not have to look perfect. It's fun to try new things as we are making art, because you might end up really liking it and wanting to do something like that in the future as you're coloring and tracing in other projects too. So I'm going to start with my markers, and I'm just going to go in and trace over different areas of my picture. Now, some of them I might trace to look more realistic with the colors that I'm going to use to fill it in, and other sections I might trace with some different colors. Maybe I want to trace over areas twice with two different colors to really create some movement with my sense of colors as they bounce off one another. So maybe on the side of my cake here, I'm going to trace it twice with two different colors. So then it's going to really look a little crazy, but maybe on the other parts, I will only trace it with one color. And maybe even these sections aren't going to be colored in the same color that I'm tracing. Maybe they're going to be totally different. I think I want to repeat that green color in here too. There we go. So you can really get crazy with how you're tracing your picture. How do things change when they are traced in a color that you don't normally see them traced in? I know normally for a lot of our projects we use black when we trace, and then we use the normal colors that things would be to make it look realistic when we start to color it in. So let's try and challenge our brains and see what colors we can use to make things look a little bit different. So I'm just going to go in and trace over all of my pencil lines with my colors to see how I want them to look. And then I'm going to use my eraser and erase any of those pencil lines that I might have missed, any of those pencil lines I can still see before we start to actually color in our picture today. So I went in certain areas and I just stuck to one color, and then I did double layer some different colors around some of my decorations and details. I even did it a little bit in my tablecloth. And you can see when you have two different colors outlining the same thing together, it creates a totally different look than when something has just one consistent color going across it. There's a new sense of movement. Your eyes get a little confused when you're looking at it. It makes other colors pop because of the contrast, and it really makes your picture a lot more interesting. Now that I finished tracing everything and I went in and I erased all the pencil lines that I can still see, I'm going to use my crayons to color my picture in. I'm going to stick to more realistic colors for a cake. I wanted my outlines to be a little bit crazy, but I think while I'm coloring this in, I want it to look a little bit more normal, like my dream cake, and all the different kinds of flavors and colors that would be associated with those flavors. Now you can go in and color in your picture however you would like. So if you want to get crazy with your coloring and make a totally wild, colorful cake, you can always do that. Yours does not have to look like mine. As we're coloring in though, we want to make sure that we are coloring in each section fully, so there are no white spaces that are left. In some of my areas, I am going to color it in so it matches that color that I chose to outline, like for the tray that is holding my cake. But in other areas where I have a bunch of different colors tracing, I might pick a totally different color to fill in that section. As I'm coloring with my crayons, I want to make sure that I'm filling in that space fully. I'm coloring nice and slowly back and forth. I'm not scribbling. I am making sure to fully color in all of that white space for that section as neatly as I can. And this goes for whatever material you are using to color. You want to always make sure that you are coloring in and doing your absolute best work, because we spent so much time drawing and tracing this. We want to make sure that we keep trying our best and giving it all of our effort, even as we are finishing up by coloring it in. So I'm just going to go in and color in my entire picture, including the background, and then I will be done. There we go, and that is my cake inspired by Wayne Thiebaud all finished. Once you're done coloring in your project, you can upload a photo or video of it on my Canvas page. I can't wait to see the colorful cakes you guys have created. Try your best, have fun, and get creative, and I'll see you soon. Bye!